Yo, this is the real deal. And we are back,
Uh,
baby.
apparently, faster than ever.
And faster than ever. Oh, brother.
Damn.
I'm here with my co host, Grimjow the Black Cat.
Oh,
And I haven't named this cat yet, so I'm still trying to think of a name.
it's okay. You don't have to.
And then our secondary co-hosts, Allie Rose and D Quantum,
Hi.
aka Quantumania, aka
baby.
Master Quan Chi,
Mm-hmm.
aka no, I'm just kidding.
I was
AKA.
about to, AKA.
I feel like that's a joke. That's like a joke in a movie somewhere. They're like aka, aka. And you're like,
Hey.
okay. It's a lot of A's and K's. Okay. How you guys doing today?
Super special awesome as always, man.
Wait, do y'all see that? We can all see Allie so crisp and clean.
Oh my God. You really just like,
What?
this bus gotta push Allie under it real quick. Before we start anything else, let me put Allie right under this bus, because that's why I feel like she should. That's what I heard.
Allie, you look so
That what
crisp
you heard?
and clean, girl. Looking shining bright like a diamond.
I guess that's apparently. I was just gonna let it ride and just let people
Shining
experience
bright
it.
like a diamond.
But no, Bracy decided this is a thing. This is a full segment right here. This is the part we're gonna clip.
Wait, and then Allie, watch this. How many fingers I got up?
Ew.
Look at that! And when she says two, her mouth moves at the same time too. Did y'all
Yeah.
notice that? Okay, y'all, we
I
out
hate y'all
here.
so much. Literally,
Well,
please stop.
Damn.
We are making progress. Okay, so tell me about y'all week. How's everybody doing?
I did things.
Okay.
Well, man, my week has been chill. I'm taking time off. I'm sitting here at home.
Wow.
Yeah, not out for work, but just not
Time
going out
off.
and talking to people.
Mm.
How are you doing, Allie?
I didn't drink my morning coffee this morning, and so when I got out of work and I was home, I walked to like the little coffee shop by me and I got an espresso.
Mhm.
And I went home and I was so productive. Like, afternoon coffee might be a new thing for me, because I really was like, I made dinner, I reorganized my bathroom, like, all this stuff happened. So,
Are you a daily coffee drinker?
yeah, every morning. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I couldn't do that.
It's impressive.
Well, listen, everybody has their vice.
No. I mean, I get it. It's fair. It's just one of those things where it's like I see a lot of you guys out here, and like the community you guys built is beautiful. I'm not a part. I remember.
What does coffee do for you? Like when you drink it?
It sharpens my focus. And keeps me from,
There's
like,
no nostalgia around drinking coffee.
Oh my goodness. That was
make them stop.
that was hurt. That hurt me. My body hurt from that segue.
Hardcore segue.
I need to sit there, go to a chiropractor. and get
Go
one.
to a chiropractor now
That's
for that whiplash.
Crazy. Well, anyway,
So, anyways,
still watch me.
Allie, so coffee? So you drink coffee every day, right?
Yeah.
And when you don't
I
drink,
try to.
okay. So you actively try to, which is funny because there's people who are like, I actively try not to drink coffee every day, and I still
I
drink
get
coffee.
too many headaches. And also, it's like the one thing I like to do for myself in the morning, because I'm real bougie about my coffee. I
There
grind
you
the
go.
beans, I boil the water.
Wait,
There
do
you
you have
go.
a French press?
I do have a French press.
Oh, that's that number one bougie coffee thing, the French press.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's not a pour over, but it is a French press.
Yeah, see, you
Is that
lost
the
me when you said
go
French
pour
press.
Over French press. What's below French press? Is that just like, the normal ground people who buy their coffee already pre-ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I know about? I know the little bird that people make, and they go.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what that's called.
yeah, that's a cappuccino.
See, I'm basic. I just get a caramel macchiato from Starbucks because
That's too sweet for me.
that's why I get it.
I was about to say a joke and I decided not to.
It's okay. Now you just missing out on content.
I know it was good. It would have been good content, but it would have been at Allie's demise again, and we've already threw out two Allie jokes already.
Fun of Allie.
I know. It's okay, Allie, because guess
Allie
what?
doesn't deserve this.
The internet is watching, and I only make fun of people I like. I'm very.
You know what I bet?
I'm very classic elementary.
I bet Allie's nostalgic for the time you were nice to her.
Oh, my neck. My neck.
From my chaos.
Exactly.
Okay, so the reason I asked about coffee is because what happens when you don't drink coffee? You say you get a headache?
Well, like today at work, after lunch, like I'll like drink coffee all day long, basically, and I like almost fell asleep after work. I was so tired, and then by the like 3-4 o'clock, I get like, a caffeine headache, like behind like my eyes, and like I'm like, oh, I need caffeine.
That is intense. Wow.
Totally, I know.
Daquan, does that happen to you when you do you drink coffee?
Occasionally, usually. So, for example, I got some coffee today, but mainly because I haven't slept well, and so I was like really tired. So I got coffee just to like push me through the day, so I can basically get to the end of tonight and reset. That's my goal. But
that is so fascinating.
I honestly hate drinking coffee. It makes me feel weird. And also it doesn't always does the caffeine effect. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's really random.
That's very interesting. So, okay, so I want to ask you two questions, but I'm going to ask this question first because we're already talking about coffee. So do you think you could tell the difference, like what kind of coffee a coffee is by just drinking it without somebody telling you?
Yeah.
Do you think you could tell which coffee it is better or worse than you could tell if it's a blue M&M?
I was just about to ask that. We are literally on the same wavelength today.
I hate y'all.
No, answer this question. I really want to know the answer. Bracey's joking. I'm serious.
I wasn't joking. That was serious.
This is fascinating to me.
Would I be able to taste like different?
Which one do you have more confidence in tasting the difference of? Different coffees or the difference of a blue M&M?
Different coffees for sure, because
Okay.
like that's way easier. Like
Okay.
I can tell a really like shitty diner cup of coffee from like something that was freshly ground out of
Would you be able to tell like what its name is?
Oh, like what type of bean? You
Yeah,
mean?
like
where-
well, not necessarily the bean, but even like if you drank it and you'd be like, oh, that's an espresso. Oh, that's just black.
I'm pretty sure that's like
Oh, that's.
different.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
'cause
I don't drink coffee, so I.
espresso is very different from like
Yeah.
Okay,
like, ground
first
coffee.
off, I don't drink coffee, so I don't even know the three things I just named.
Yeah, because he was like, what's an espresso, what's black? I was like, yo, those are, I can tell the difference between those, and I don't even drink coffee like that. I'll be like, yeah, that's black. Please, don't give me that anymore. Please, take it away. I actually, funny thing, I was reading something about, it was about coffee, and they were talking about the way you get, like, the different light and dark roasts is basically how long you have, like, water, like, it soaking in the hot water or something like that. Like, the less you soak it in, it has a lighter, sweeter taste. The more you soak it in, it loses the sweetness and gives you more that like bitter coffee taste. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an avid coffee drinker. I don't have a French
light
press.
roast has more caffeine than a dark roast.
Oh really? I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
So why do people prefer dark roast? Do you know?
The taste probably it's like a richer.
Oh okay. It's more of that bean water taste.
Bean water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you drink coffee, do you get like a sense of nostalgia? Do you go like, I remember
No,
when.
but then you drank coffee as a child.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be as a child. Like,
Well,
nostalgia
it
is
just
more
doesn't even
than.
have to necessarily be you. Like, for example, I will have a nostalgic thing because when I grew up, I went to diners with my family all the time, and my stepdad, he will always have a cup of coffee, and I would smell it then. And so, like, like if I smell a coffee smell, I think of a diner. I think of a specifically a
I see what
coffee
you're
smell.
saying. Yeah. I think you're always either creating memories or remembering memories.
Yeah.
So like right now, you might be actively drinking coffee because it's practical and it's part of your routine. But then one day, you might walk past a coffee shop and smell the coffee that you drink, and then you go, ah, I remember when we used to do the real deal.
Um,
I mean, maybe not, but I don't
branding.
know.
I don't think I'll associate it with this, but sure.
Maybe.
So,
So you wanted
I
to talk
think
about
that was
nostalgia, right?
What?
Who wanted to talk about nostalgia?
I brought it up. It's okay though. Don't worry about it. We don't have to make it a thing. We don't have to.
Yeah,
sit
no,
there,
I'm just curious, like, cause
The reason I did is because nostalgia is a very unifying thing. It's I think it's specifically for, I don't want to say our generation, but for our people of our age range, nostalgia is a very potent thing right now. I'm seeing like a whole bunch of remakes. You know, they just had the Power
I see what
Rangers
you're saying.
anniversary. They're having like
Oh
a whole
yeah.
bunch of stuff that is
They're like
basically.
no new ideas, remaking everything only. And
Yes.
you're like, damn, really, bro?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, really, bro? But yet, I'm still gonna pay and watch it. Like, I'm still gonna do it because I want to. It makes me feel good. Like,
Yeah, that's
like,
interesting. That's an interesting. That's an interesting place. Like an
they said
interesting
that
take.
like Good Burger 2. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bad. But am I gonna watch it?
Okay,
Yes.
you
And
say that.
Low key, if they sell that as a orange VHS, I'd probably buy it. Cause like,
Play it if they sell it as an orange VHS.
I do have a VHS player, and I'm holding on to it for historical reasons, just for moments specifically like this.
Okay, to be fair, Good Burger 1 is terrible.
Oh, it's a terrible, terrible movie, but
Like,
yet I love it.
You watch it now and it's bad. And when we were younger, it was like goofy enough for like we didn't understand and it was fine. But now,
You know what I feel about the same same type of movie I feel that way about? Space Jam.
I've never seen Space Jam.
Oh, wait. Like ever?
No.
You just missed that? Oh, okay, never mind. Oop, Space Jam at the time was the most amazing thing I've ever seen because it was like, oh my goodness, it's Michael Jordan. He's the best basketball player of all time. Oh my God, it's Bugs Bunny. Look at them do the thing. And also the music was really good. Like the music in Space Jam, that is one thing I will give Space Jam's credit for. That soundtrack, amazing.
The new Space Jam
soundtrack hit. No, don't
Oh,
bring
the
up
old
that.
one. Okay. Yeah, the old one slapped.
Old one slap. The movie was terrible though.
Movies that I have like nostalgia for are like the classic Disney Channel, like Smart House.
Oh my God.
The
Wait, you actually
13th
watched Smart
Year
House?
where he's like a merman. Like,
Oh my God, the cringe Disney movie, the Disney Channel
You know
originals.
the original movie?
Yeah.
Bro, Alley Cat Strike.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Wow.
That is the one thing that I was like, man, when I watched that movie, I was like, I want to try being good at bowling. And then I was like, nah, this isn't.
Okay, I want to ask this really quick. So, is nostalgia on? I'm gonna say this as a quote. I heard somebody once say, "Nostalgia is the good memories, trauma is the bad."
Yeah, that's it.
And I was,
Basically.
and I was
That's
gonna
it,
ask, does everybody agree with that, or do you feel like nostalgia is just reminiscing on anything? Because I've gotten like spankings before, and it's still nostalgic. Like,
I think it depends. There's like a level of cringe that nostalgia can be, but like if it's truly like a bad memory, then it's trauma. Because sometimes I'll have nostalgia of like, remember this chore our mom used to make us do?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, oh yeah, the sound of that vacuum or like whatever, and it was like, haha, but it wasn't like, you know,
Yeah. Or like
therapy inducing.
or like like the nostalgia of like elementary school chairs or something like that, where you see it and you're like, oh snap, I forgot about, or the little game with the little tarp where they had the handles that you had to put it up, and it's like, was it really like something special? No, but like seeing it now makes me feel a different type of way.
It like resurfaces other memories too, which is kind of interesting.
Honestly, I don't know. There are times where you ever had like something like a nostalgic moment, and you're just kind of like it's not that I didn't want this. It's just kind of like, man, I'm thinking about this now, and this is not what I planned to do today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst is like when I smell something, and it's like something I can't get anymore. Like that's the worst. Like where it's just like, yo, it reminded me of something, and now it's gone, and I'm never going to be able to have it again. Like
that sucks.
Like, that's like, oh my gosh, wait, okay. I have this for the cereal Waffle Crisp. Are we familiar with this?
Yes. Oh my god.
I
think that might actually be trauma for me.
No, Waffle Crisp is a 10 out of 10 cereal, and they discontinued it.
Which I'm glad they did, because that
was wait, did you hate Waffle Crisp?
Yes.
Why did you hate Waffle Crisp?
Waffle Crisps?
Waffle Crisp was a good cereal. It's
okay.
It was a good cereal.
Okay, yeah, continue. My parents only brought bad cereal, so...
Apparently. And I'm sorry that happened to
And maybe they weren't Waffle Crisps. Maybe they were like Pancake Crisps.
You got the off-brand Waffle Crisp in that trauma. And I'm sorry that happened. But, so anyways, okay, wait, it was discontinued in 2018, but there was a petition to bring it back, and so I feel like in 2021 or something, they started making it again, and so I was at the only store in my hometown that I know for sure sells it, and I, like, copped a box, and it's so good.
That's how I felt about French Toast Crunch.
Like, you still have it? You still have this box of Waffle Crisps?
I mean, yeah, I just got it 2 days ago.
Oh, dang. Okay, good to know.
Nah, and that it's good when it works out like that. But like I said, like for example, I grew up around the Flint area, right? And in that area, there's a fast food chain called Halo Burger, right?
Called what?
And Halo Burger.
Halo Burger. Okay.
They like burgers, but they like donuts. They like chop out the center of the burger.
Stop. I don't know why you keep doing this. Just let me have my moment, please. Like I just want it. Can I just have it, please? Just give me my. I'm talking about my nostalgic trauma about how I can't get Halo Burger anymore. And you just come in here making jokes. First off, Halo Burger was amazing. Their mascot was a cow with a halo above its head. And you're like, funny. It's Halo Burger because it's a dead cow and I'm eating it. And then we always loved Halo Burger because almost all the Halo Burgers had like the playscape, so we could go in and everybody would take us there. We would go run around playing playscape. We were like, oh my god, it's so great.
The cow had a halo. I gotta look this up.
Halo. It's really great. It's really great. And we used to hate it. Oh my goodness, we used to hate getting the burgers from there because the bag was so greasy and it would just be dripping wet with grease all the time, and we'd be like, it's disgusting. It was so disgusting. We stopped ordering burgers and we started getting the chicken sandwich, right? Because we didn't want to deal with the greasy bag anymore. And so we just eating chicken sandwiches because I don't want to have to like get all this mess. My hands are all slicky. I have to go wash my hands every 5 minutes. I don't want this.
The PlayStation because you're slipping sliding around.
Exactly. You can't play the PlayStation. Me specifically, it was my Game Boy. I was trying to catch all 100. Being a Pokemon master at the time, that was my current goal. But
we did all this really quick. You keep talking.
They had
dang.
these things called Boston Coolers, which is just a Verner's like shake. It's just a Werner shake, and it tasted exquisite. It was so beautiful. It was a beautiful moment, right? And then it was like right and around when I was in high school. Like I was just graduating. They sold it. The family who owned the company sold it to some pop. I don't even know who. Right?
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it still exists. It still exists, but it's fucking terrible. Like
It sounds like it's always been that way.
No, no. Before it was terrible, but it was a terrible in an enjoyable way. Now it's just bad. Now
I think you were just young and naive. I think if you noticed your grandma, it was probably always bad.
No.
Dang.
No.
Allie's just taking your moment right now.
I know. Don't sit there and say something like you wasn't doing it earlier. First off, it's okay. Allie, I know it's different because the aforementioned bag grease I was talking about is no longer there. The bags are no longer greasy. So I know they did something. They changed it. It was not It was not me. I didn't get older and found things change. It's they changed it. They took my childhood away from me and said I can never have it back.
They switched to an all natural grass fed free range cow, and then made sure that it didn't have any fat in it. Dang.
Is that what they did?
Wow.
Is that what they did? I don't even know what they did.
Yeah.
I just know I don't go there anymore.
If they don't have greasy burgers no more, that's probably what they did.
No.
Those sweet cows. Those sweet cows, now they don't have halos anymore.
Matt Bracey, what's nostalgic for you?
Spankings.
What?
Pick something different, please.
No, spankings are actually really nostalgic. So, a funny story. Growing up, and you know, this is the era when spankings were it was on the cusp. It was on the cusp of like spanking was bad. So, you know, like it was still acceptable to get spankings. And like when I was in elementary school, you could still get a spanking from your teacher. Like yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Depending on the school you went to. School district, I guess. So, but that was elementary school. By the time I was in high school, like that was no longer acceptable.
I don't think high schoolers like. Are you talking about back?
No, I'm saying like by the time I got to high school, like spanking
was gone.
People were like it was frowned upon by that time to like spank your kids, like socially. So, but when I was in elementary school, like you could still get spanked by your teacher, and your parents would be like, yeah, he deserved that or she deserved that. Like that was okay. However, I was when I was working at Western as a student. Me and this other black student, I'm not gonna name drop, but we were both sitting in the office, the student activities office, and we were sitting here reminiscing about the times that we got spankings and how funny they were, because to us, we felt like you only got spankings when you were having fun. Like, like you only got a spanking for doing something that was both stupid and fun / funny. Not for like you could get a spanking for just being bad, but like we weren't bad kids. We just did stupid stuff. And so we got spankings for doing stupid stuff. One time, and we were both like cracking up, and like this girl walks in and she's like, it sounds like y'all were like abused as children. And we were like, trauma bond. We were like, no, it was such a great time. But there was this one time where I was at my grandmother's house, and I don't know what it was, like, because I'm not a rebellious person, but she was like, if you I love sliding down the stairs. She had carpet stairs, and like I would slide down the stairs, you know, and she was like, if you slide down those stairs one more time, and I was like, what is inside of me? This fire is burning. I'm going to go to the top of the stairs. I'm going to slide down one more time, and then I'm going to be done. And I slid down again.
That was the time for rebellion.
And she went in the kitchen and grabbed a wooden spoon and spanked me with a wooden spoon. It was one of the worst spankings I ever had. And I was like, wow. But it was a good time because I really enjoyed sliding down that stairs.
I think it was worth it. Risk and reward.
And now that I have my own set of stairs that have carpet on them, I slide down them with my kids.
Oh, cute.
Yep. But then my wife, she spanks me afterwards. No, I'm just kidding.
No kitchen.
That took
That's
a
the
weird
rule.
turn.
Oh, no, not a weird. Perfect.
But yeah, no. I like when we were. I don't know. I felt like I remember when I got suspended for starting a food fight. Fun fact.
What?
Bro, that's gonna take your political aspirations right there. This moment, starting that food fight, right here. This is gonna
Hey, I got lots of spankings for doing a lot of stupid stuff. So, but yes, I started a food fight in the third grade.
Okay, third grade.
Third grade, yep. And I'll explain to you how I remember this as vividly as I do. I started a food fight. I didn't actually start a food fight, but I started a food fight. Long story short, and so my teacher suspended me, and my mom. So I got suspended, but my mom my parents couldn't pick me up from school. So I had to stay at school until school was over, and I had to ride the bus home. My principal gave me a letter that said I got suspended inside of the letter and told me I had to go home and give the letter to my parents. Which I don't know if you like. This was in the era before you could publicly have anxiety. That's what I had. I was like, I have anxiety right now. And I remember looking at that letter like, wow, this is like, I remember vividly looking at the letter and going like, this means I'm going to get a spanking later. And like, I was sitting on the bus looking at the envelope like, wow, I'm going to get a spanking letter later because of this envelope. and as a I don't even know how old I was, but I was in the third grade. And I'm sitting here processing this on the bus, like looking at this envelope, like, wow, I'm gonna get a spanking the second I give this envelope to my parents. And I walked in the door and I handed the envelope to my mom, and she was like, "What's this?" And I said, "It's from the school." And I just walked away.
as you do.
And then
that was the right strat.
She came into my room, and I don't even know what I was thinking, but like for some reason I was doing a handstand. Like I was in the third grade.
You had all this nervous energy to like do something. So you're like,
I was like, you know what? Let me just get some of this energy out, so I was doing a handstand, and she walked into the room and caught me by the legs and gave me a spanking right there. And then I got in the bed crying, of course, and then she said, "And your daddy go come home and spank you too." And I was like, "Dang, wow, that sucks." And the reason I remember that so vividly was because fast forward almost 10 years, I went to a prom with a girl, and her auntie was the teacher that suspended me. And
that's full circle.
And yes, full circle. And when she saw me, she was like, "Oh my God, Matthew, she was like, you grew up so handsome. You're so sweet." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "A lot has," and this is what I said. I was like, "A lot has changed since you suspended me." And she said, "I never suspended you." And I was like, "You gonna gaslight me like that in front of all these people?" And she was like, "No, like, you are such a good kid." And I was like, "Okay, all right, okay." I was like, I remember the spankings, but okay. So, yeah,
Dang.
good. But it was, I don't know, good times. Like, I got spankings for good reasons. I think I turned out pretty great. So, what can I say?
All right. As long as you feel that way.
I feel that way. I don't know how society feels, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's your experience. So.
I'm not doing a court case on my parents anytime soon. So
I can do a tell-all.
Yeah.
You could do a tell-all book, just like, yeah, the dates and everything. It's like, I remember it.
My parents be like, "No, that's not what happened." I remember my dad would talk about how his dad, my grandfather, would spank him, and my grandfather would be like, we never gave you a spanking a day in your life. And he would say it so confidently that we were actually like, did he actually not get any spankings? Like, why does he spank us if he didn't get any spankings? And because Grandpa would be like, I give you not a single spanking. We didn't even touch you. And we was like, what? He didn't get no spankings? He'd be like, what? No, y'all spank me all the time. And now that I do it in front of my kids, my dad be like, we didn't spank you one time. I'm like, wow. You just gonna lie like that right to the kids.
Okay.
All
right. I know we talk about nostalgia, but I guess memory comes into that. Because I hate that. I hate. Okay, so one time, my grandparents lived out in the forest. So they was woods and other stuff, right? When we were kids, we would go out there, do a whole bunch of stuff. One of these times, I found a snake and picked up the snake. And then I was like, oh, wait, snakes could be dangerous. Hold on. Let me go talk to my parents. If I go up to my mom and I was like, hey, we found a snake. Is it dangerous? And she was like, no. There's no dangerous snakes out there. And I was like, dope. Cool. So I go back and I just go play with the snake. Now, should I play with the snake? Probably not. But... And so I would do stuff. I would sit there. I would follow the snake. It would go into little holes. I would go into little holes with it. I would just be sitting there trying to find what the snake doing. Look, I was like 8, 9. This is what kids do.
Yeah.
I follow snakes. Right? So I'm doing this, right? Fast forward, years later, right? My families are having their little nostalgia trip, going about the good old times. And one of the stories was, my mom was like, hey, remember when we were trapped inside the driveway because the rattlesnake was under the car and we were afraid to get out? And I was like, hold up. Rattlesnake? That's a dangerous snake. You told me no dangerous snakes out there. She was like, I never said that. I was like, what do you mean? My entire childhood was based off of this backyard.
Having zero fear over snakes.
Zero fear. Doing stuff. I was finding holes and just digging into them because I wanted to try to figure out what was in there. Zero fear. I could have died because you just probably didn't want to tell me to be afraid. I'm like, no. And then to this day, she was like, no, I never said that. I'm like, no, you 100% said that.
Why would I base my whole life off of that one thing?
Why would I make this up?
There are so many things that my parents have told me that are just like whatever they felt like saying at the time that I like thought were like truism.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I'm like, that wasn't. I have to like relearn things. So I'm like, okay, well that was like never true. I have no idea what they based that off of. Like, damn.
Have you ever talked to them about it later?
No, because they're gonna be like, I never said. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have no memory.
Me upset. That's what makes me upset. I'm sitting here like re-questioning all aspects of my life, and they just be like, just throw their hands up like,
you're fine. You survived.
I'm like, no.
I'm like,
no.
Yeah, but what cost?
That is like, so funny.
There's so many things that I don't know that I just believe wholeheartedly that could be false that I don't know. The lies is my life based off of.
I was listening to Trevor Noah and he was talking about how if he was a teacher, I think I told y'all this, like if he was a teacher, he would tell like 98% truths, but then he would always give like 2% lies that just would just be funny. So he was like I would teach kids about like, you know, science and stuff and math, but then I would tell them that like he said he like made up a statistic about frogs or something. He was like I would make up a statistic like frogs moo or something like something completely false, but like he was like I would hope that like 20 years down the line they just never actually followed up on it. And then somebody like they would be giving like they'd be flirting with somebody or at a dinner or something and they'd be like, yeah, because you know frogs moo, and then they would be like, what are you talking about? Just so it could be like, dang it, Professor Trevor or whatever. I was like, that's so mean, but it's also really so funny.
It is not funny.
That's very funny.
It is not funny. I do not appreciate it, and I don't do it, except for that one time I did it to my brother because I did. Okay, this is bad. It was bad. But like basically,
Your
one
brother
time,
gonna watch this too.
sure he probably is. But one time we were playing around and we had like it was like a toy knife, right? And we me and my cousin stabbed one another and pretended like we died. But he was like 5 or 6, so he didn't understand. And so he started like crying and breaking down, like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And we were like, we kept pretending until he was like for real crying, and then we were like, "Okay, now we feel bad. We're not there. It's okay." He was like, "Why would you do?"
Okay, you
like,
just building up his empathy.
Normal. I feel like that's totally normal.
But because like, first off, I was like 10, 12. Like we were kids. We thought it was funny. We did this all the time. We just knew like, yeah, it's not real. We thought he would know it's not real, but he didn't. And so, and that's why, I don't lie to them anymore.
That's hilarious.
Keep it 100% honest with you from now on, because I don't want to make you cry, because I felt bad about that one time.
So I love like nostalgic memories. And the reason that I do that is because I love like when I'm like sitting somewhere and something completely unrelated, like I see it or like some kind of completely unrelated stimulus takes place, and my brain will go like do, and then lead me to some arbitrary memory that I then like I'll giggle about or laugh about, and then somebody will be like, "What's funny?" And then I'm like, it would take me like 20 minutes to explain to you like why I just laughed, but like it was a memory basically.
In those situations, I feel I can only call like my sister or like my brother, because like they would instantly know, and they're like, it's kind of sad. They're the only ones who would like get it.
Yeah, but that's the best. That's like the best. Like when you were talking about the snakes, I instantly like I'll have to show it to y'all, but I have a video of my dad. And you've met my dad. I have a video of him literally squealing, because, and it was a garter snake. It was literally a garter snake, and I don't know if I picked it up or he picked it up, but somebody picked up the garter snake and he just went. and jumped, and it was, and I have this video on Facebook. I'm gonna have to go watch it after we're done. But like that's what that literally made me think of when you were talking about the snakes. It was my dad like jumping over this snake. I just thought that was so funny.
I don't know if you guys do it, but do you guys like? I'm pretty sure everyone does, like, have inside jokes with your family where if you could say a phrase or something,
yes,
and it's like related to a very specific memory that only you guys know about.
Yeah.
And then you just sit there, you laugh, and then usually it's at the expense of one person. They just sit there and they're mad, like, why are we bringing this back up?
Yeah. What's yours? What's yours, Daguan?
I can't.
Allie, do you have one?
I can't do it.
I have one from... My family went on a trip to Italy in like 2016. And mind you, my parents got divorced like a year after that. So we're all in Italy together, and the whole trip was like trauma. Like we're all fighting. My sister was studying abroad there. We went to go visit her. And like, it was so bad. And my dad kept getting he gets really like nervous and anxious in crowds and in foreign countries. He can't read anything, so he's all worked up the whole time we're there. And I would like cross the street like ahead of them, and he would like freak out that I was gonna get like trafficked or something.
Yeah.
And so he kept getting mad at me, and he's like, "If you keep doing this, like, we're gonna, like, you're gonna be in trouble." I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Send me home by myself?" Which, like, he would, like, that was, like, even worse, right? Like, because he just was trying to, like, protect me. And he finally had enough, and he was like, "Listen, if you know so much about Italy and you feel so confident that you can be in charge of this trip. And I was like, bet. Everybody call me, oh, captain, my captain. And so then the rest of the trip, Mom, my sister, and my brother kept calling me, oh, captain, my captain.
Did they
And
stand
my
on the
dad was
desk?
getting so mad. Because I was like, you told me to be in charge. I'm doing it. I'm like, okay, nobody can cross. Okay, now we're crossing. Like, everything. Like, just really living it up.
Oh my goodness.
That is
So-
hilarious.
Yeah. So now, when we're being funny, my family will call me, oh, captain, my captain. So,
That's awesome. My family used to. So we watched My Wife and Kids. And
Yeah.
that was literally like as a family, that was our show. Like we watched it so much that my father bootlegged the entire series.
Okay.
and watched it. Like if I go into politics, that's what they'll use. They'll use my dad's bootlegging career. But like he bootlegged the entire
But
series.
steal a car.
And we watched this entire series from front to back to front, probably 30 times. So we knew all of the lines to all the episodes. There was an episode where the family is, the kids are sitting on the couch and they're watching TV or playing video games or something, and the mom walks in and the kids say, "Mom, can you make us some snacks?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, honey." She goes to the kitchen and she comes back with a plate full of vegetables and she sets it down, and then and then the kids go, "What are we, some gerbils?" And she was like, "Well, then make your own snacks then." She picks up the plate and walks into the kitchen, and then the dad walks into the kitchen, and he was like, "What's this plate for?" And she was like, "These are some snacks for the kids." And he was like, "What are they, some gerbils?" And like, to this day, if anybody makes anything that has no meat in it, if it's just vegetable anything, everybody will be like, "What are we, some gerbils?" Like, it's so funny. I don't know why. And my little sister is a chef. So like,
yeah.
she always comes home with like these amazing dishes and stuff. But like, if it doesn't have meat in it, everybody'll be like, "What are we, a bunch of gerbils?" It's just so funny. But it'd be so good. But it's like the joke still sits.
I have one I can actually say. So
Okay, go.
my little brother, he's just going into oh my god, that's another one we're not going to talk. But my little brother, he's just going into, he's like kindergarten, elementary. I can't remember. He was really young. I think he was in kindergarten because he was 5. That becomes very important because my little brother back then, however old he was, determined what he had the capability of doing. And so, no, you say, yeah, this boy could fully read. And then we'd be like, "Oh, you read that?" He'd be like, "No, I can't read. I'm only 4." And then he would just keep reading the pages, and we'd be like, "But you're reading. Like you read it." He's like, "No, I can't do it. I'm only 4. I can't read. I don't know how to do this." But he was in his classroom. He had a little event or whatever, right? And so I think he just turned 5, so he was like, "I can read now. I'm 5. Reading is now one of the skills that are available to me." And so we're going around pointing at stuff for him to read, right? And on one of them, it's like a Chester Cheeto. And it's Chester Cheeto, and it's like those cheesy school like posters like Cool Cat's Bill character, right? We like, "Hey, go read that one." He says, "Cool Cat's Bill," and we could tell that character was a bit too long of a word. He was like, "Ooh, that's a challenge." So you saw him think about it for a little bit. He's like, "Children, Cool Cat's Bill, children," and we just started dying laughing.
Cool Cat's what?
Build
Children.
children. It was just probably the biggest word that he could associate with that looked like character. That is hilarious.
CH, all that stuff. I was like, damn.
Yeah, CH was all he needed. He was like, CH, there ain't no other words that have CH that many letters after it.
Dude, and we just dialect, and so we'll say that every once in a while. Be like, yeah, man, cool cats build children.
That's a good one. What were we about to say, Ellie?
Oh, I was gonna talk about like smell with nostalgia.
Ooh,
oh yeah,
that's great.
Like the two things that always like do it for me is when we were growing up, my mom had a huge garden and she used to can like everything in the fall. So I always knew like fall always like makes me think of coming home and our entire house smelling like tomatoes, because she would can like 80 jars of tomatoes and like give them out to I'm being serious. Her garden was huge, and she would give them to like neighbors and coworkers and family members, and then we would have like 30 just in our basement to use all year.
Tomatoes.
And so it would be 3 days of nonstop canning, because they can't the jars have to like go in the oven and you have to like smush the tomatoes and cook them, and like it was a whole thing for
God.
like. Yeah, and it's so intense too. Like the whole house would smell like tomatoes, and so I used to hate it, and now I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like
I love that.
The tomatoes.
The smell. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about science a little bit, because it's hard to have these kinds of conversations and not bring up science.
Why can't we just sit there and just and
enjoy
go
no
back
science?
Sugar coated memories in the corner of my mind.
Because science
Bring
makes
up the
it
science.
so much better.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Rip
go
the
ahead.
Band-Aid.
Okay, so
let's go.
fun
Science?
fact time. Science. Okay. So some of the science. I'm not gonna talk about the deep science. Also, because I'm not a neuroscientist, so I'm just an engineer that loves learning. Anyways, so memory is actually directly connected to your sensory system, which a lot of people don't know. They think your memory is like deep up in your brain somewhere. But it's actually directly connected to your sensory system. So your taste, your smell, and your touch, and your sight too, but mostly your smell and your taste is directly connected to memory. And so when you eat something, I want to say this as like a way to test your abilities. If you have a friend who you trust and that's not gonna prank you, try this science experiment at home. Have them take like some strawberries and maybe some apples, or I guess you could just buy applesauce, but like some strawberries, some applesauce, and like another fruit, and just blend it all up, and then with being blindfolded, try each one, and then actually see if you can tell the difference between the fruit. Because a lot of people, I think a lot of people are so visually drawn to things that they eat that they don't realize that those things are built into their smell and into their taste almost equally, but sometimes more. And so when you see an apple, you can imagine what the apple tastes like before you even bite into the apple. And when you see something that you know tastes good, so what's something that you like the taste of?
Macaroni and cheese.
Okay, so when you see a plate of macaroni and cheese, your glands in your mouth will start.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah, I was saying, your glands start to salivate, and you start to, because your brain is preparing yourself for eating macaroni and cheese, which is so fascinating. Before you can literally not have any mac and cheese, and if you think about it, then your brain will start salivating, because your brain will start causing your mouth to salivate, and then you'll go, dang, I really want some mac and cheese now. And it's like,
I don't get the why are you, so you have apples and strawberries and you blend them together and then
you don't blend them together. You're blending. It's just so that the texture is similar
you just need
across.
A puree so that because
to see if you can
tell them apart.
Yeah. So you can sit there and do it by sight, but you also can do it by smell.
You can do it by smell or sight, and it works either way.
Because there's certain things that taste completely different if you don't smell them before you eat them.
Yep.
Because Your
Like what?
smell. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, all kinds
But,
of things. Like it's because you think about yourself as a visual creature. Like
Yeah.
like even think about race. Like people see your race before they see anything else or know anything else about you. And so
Yeah.
that gives them a lot of, and neither here nor there. We can talk about prejudice and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you're always going to see things first because
Mhm.
sight happens first. Like, sorry, not sorry. Light moves at the speed of light, so there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, and it's not even just like about seeing. So, for example, you see, that's also why like sight matters, but it also doesn't matter because you're so used to being overwhelmed with sight. Having it there, having it going is important, but it's one of those like you're so just knowing it's there is enough because you'll fill in everything else.
Yeah. So if that's what I said. If you see an apple or you see mac and cheese, your brain will like subconsciously. You're not doing this consciously, but subconsciously, you know what the apple tastes like. So imagine an apple. You know what the apple tastes like. Imagine imagine I had an apple, but I made it taste like a pear, or I made it taste like macaroni and cheese. And you just had no idea. When I give you that
Willy
apple,
Wonka shit.
yeah, if I give you that apple and you look at it and you feel it and you smell it and it smells like an apple, looks like an apple, like feels like an apple, and you bite into it and you taste macaroni and cheese, you're like, I'm literally going to destroy your brain. Like your brain is gonna like fire all kinds of synapses, and you're gonna like you might actually have a mini panic attack because you're gonna be like, that was so vastly different than what I was expecting. And so so because your sight is so, because a lot of your memories are so heavily influenced by sight actually messes up a lot of those interpretations. And so that's why I said if you puree a bunch of, and you could try this with like a bunch of fruits and vegetables, just get a whole bunch of little plates and then puree a bunch of random stuff, blindfold yourself.
In the plate.
Yeah, blindfold yourself and then just try one at a time.
Roulette.
You try one at a time, smell it, and then taste it, and you'll be able to tell exactly what it is just from smelling it. You probably from smelling it, you'll be able to tell what it is, but then smelling it and tasting it, you should be able to tell what it is. And you'll be surprised at how much memory is just in smell or just in taste.
The same thing is if you don't smell it, they'll all taste the same. I looked it up.
Oh, really?
Smell adds the flavor. When you don't smell, everything just starts to taste really bland.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of taste testers will tell you to clear your palate, because the memories on your, like when you eat something, your palate like mixes a lot of food together. And so like your memory won't remember individual things, it'll remember a bunch of things together. So you gotta do like a palate cleanse in between each thing that you eat. However, if you train yourself, you can taste individual things and know exactly what it is from taste without smell. But you can do the same thing with smell. Like you can smell, although most scientists will say that your smell is the most powerful. Like you should be able to name things based on smell better than any other sense. However, you see things first, which is why most of the time you'll be able to tell things off of sight better than smell.
This is just like when you go to the store and you are trying to pick out a new cologne or perfume, and after you smell like 3, they all smell the same. You know what they give you to like clear your nose palate?
Go on.
Coffee grounds.
Oh, full circle.
Or they just say, "Oh, try this coffee scent," and you go, "Ooh."
No one wants to smell it.
Actually, that's not true. I think they're like a mocha. I feel like people will want to smell like a mocha. I would like to smell like mocha.
I'll tell you this:
A mocha
What's
is
your type of-
chocolate.
I
Is it
hate the smell of drank coffee. Like drunk
What?
did coffee.
What are you trying to say?
What
Help
is
me help you. What was wrong?
Like
with
an
me?
empty
I have
coffee
this joke
pot?
right now.
I think it was-
Like coffee breath. Like when somebody drinks a
Oh.
coffee
Oh yeah.
and
okay.
they breathe their hot coffee breath on you, you go. However, I love the smell of the coffee aisle. Like if I walk down a coffee
Yeah.
aisle in a grocery store, I could just go,
Yeah.
oh, because it's not so intense that like I go crazy.
What
I
about like
love
a coffee pot, like one that people have like a pot of
No,
coffee?
it's too intense.
Oh, I like the coffee pot smell. Okay. So here's another thing. I love the smell of gasoline. Like, I know.
Yeah,
I
you lost
understand.
me. You lost me there.
I understand. But like when I go and pump gas and everyone's like, "Oh, you smell like gas," I'm like, "I like this. I like this
you
smell."
like you like squirt a little on your on your
Like-
hand.
I like. I just take the pump out, just put it in my hand, just rub it all over my body really quickly. And look at.
We just
You like
wrap it up.
rub a little like on your neck.
Yes, like I don't know, something about like that chemical smell. I like it. I like that. I like the smell of like rubbing alcohol. I like the smell of like certain chemicals.
Now that's interesting because there's, believe it or not, there's actually a lot of people who love the smell of like those kinds of chemicals, like that sharp
Like
sense
chlorine?
of like chlorine and I was about
Yeah.
to say coffee, but chlorine and gasoline and alcohol. Like there's a lot of people who are attracted to those smells, which is bizarre, and I'm sure there's a science behind it. And I should probably look that up, but I think that's very interesting. I love walking into a hotel and smelling the chlorine in the pool. I hate
Yeah.
the smell of chlorine, but when I walk into
Wait,
a
I don't
hotel,
understand.
like for some reason, if I walk into a hotel, for some reason, when I take that first breath, I go, like that chlorine in that pool, like.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like at
I
first,
don't understand how you like that smell, but don't like the smell of chlorine all the time. Like
I don't like the smell
like,
of
anytime I
because it's associated with something else. Like for some reason, the chlorine
But when I smell
associated
chlorine,
with
I just
the
immediately
hotel.
think of
with
pool.
like vacation.
Yeah, I can see
that might be part of it. Yeah, that's
So-
interesting.
You know one smell that I hate.
Mm.
It's the smell of Coke, mainly because
Coca-Cola.
yes, Coca-Cola. What were you thinking? What type of person do you think I am, Allie?
I'm just clarifying for our fans.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you.
The
You're right.
smell of that
So-
meth going across
So
my
the-
nose.
Okay, calm down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
Um,
love the smell of Coke. And I'm like,
What
Anyway,
kind of Coke are we talking?
Coca-Cola, and I hate it. First off, I said I hate the smell of Coke.
That's true. We instantly twisted it.
But I hate the smell of Coca-Cola because it always makes me want to get like a frozen Coke, and I don't like the taste of Coke. I hate the taste of Coke.
Interesting.
But like when I smell it, sometimes it's like I need to have it. I need it. I have to satisfy the craving.
I feel that. If I go without Sour Patch Kids for a long, like if I go more than like a month, I know that's not a long time for most people, but your boy got a sweet tooth. And if I go more than a month without eating Sour Patch Kids, just like for you, macaroni and cheese, all I have to do is literally see the package in the store. I don't even have to see the package. I can just think about it. If I consciously go, dang, I haven't had a Sour Patch Kid in a while, my mouth instantly starts salivating, and I go like, yeah, I'm like, dang, now I need a pack of Sour Patch Kids, just so that I can remember that I don't actually like Sour Patch Kids that much.
oh, really?
I like them, but I don't like in terms of like the hierarchy of my kind of candy.
You
Like-
prefer the Easter jelly beans?
Oh yeah, I love
God, we
Easter.
back- Jelly beans.
Y'all don't know. We talking about nostalgia. That was the only holiday each year where my parents actively were like, okay, y'all can have candy. That was it. That was literally the only holiday where we were allowed to have candy. Like
I hate that for you, and I'm really
we
sad.
had candy, but like that was the only holiday where my parents, like, you got the basket, You had the jelly beans, and for years I was like, these jelly beans are trash, but I'm gonna savor them because I'm not gonna get them again. And
So
then,
basically, what I'm hearing is the reason why you like jelly beans is because of Stockholm syndrome.
no,
the only thing you could get for so long.
No, what happened was I didn't like the jelly beans, but I was okay with them. And then I had Starburst jelly beans because Starburst was the first company that made the first mainstream like candy camp company that made jelly beans. And
Really,
like
okay.
we're like out of like in terms of like who we know as like produces candy on a regular basis, like
Isn't there like a famous jelly bean company?
yeah,
that
but
makes,
they make jelly beans. I'm saying like a candy company that doesn't make jelly
the
beans,
brand.
right?
You wanted that,
right?
Yeah.
Starburst was like, we gonna make jelly beans, and the first time I had that first Starburst jelly bean, I was like, this right here is a jelly bean. I'm not talking about Jelly Bellies because you know they okay too, but like that Starburst jelly bean was the first one that I ate. I was like, that's it right there. That's what I need. And from then on, I was a jelly bean person. Like if I could, like the second spring hit, I was like waiting for jelly beans to come out. Love me some jelly beans.
Atlee, do you have like a nostalgic holiday?
No.
Dang. Okay. Sorry. I do. Oh my god, put those away. I don't
jelly
know, that's
beans,
one of the
baby. Always strapped. Always.
Please put them away, please. I don't know. I'm nostalgic for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, mainly because back when I was a kid, that was like the one holiday where I would like meet all my extensive family. We'll come together and stuff like that, and it was like a big deal. Like it was a big deal, and we had to call, like all my cousins called each other because we had to figure out who's bringing what so we could play video games. So we'd be like, who's bringing a TV? Who's bringing controllers? What games are we playing? And we would plan this out like a week ahead of time before like the holiday.
That's hilarious.
And we would do this, and then we would plan where we're going to hide away so that they won't leave us alone so we could just keep playing our game. Because like we would be sitting there like, okay, I'll bring my Xbox. I got Halo 2. I got 2 controllers. It's like, all right, cool. I'll bring the other 2 controllers. All right, cool. I'll bring the TV. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna go into the left room. They're not using that. The game. They have the other TV. We could sit there. We could play Halo all day. They're gonna leave us alone. And I love those days. I miss those days so much.
Did y'all ever have the like the family gatherings and stuff, and then you tell your cousins to ask your parents if they could spend the night?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And we used to be like, no, just ask my parents if you could spend the night. Just ask them. They'll probably say yes. But you gotta ask. If I ask, they gonna say no. I still love that. That used to be so funny.
We did that every once in a while. My family didn't do that. Like there would be just times where we would just come together and we would know. But like when our family hung out, we hung out until like 2-3 in the morning. So it was no like, oh yeah, let's stay out. It was like everyone came over here. We are all gonna drive back in like the middle of the night, and this is just what happens.
Yeah, by the time we never went to camp or anything. Like, and this is the age before cell phones. So like we still had like PlayStation and stuff, but like you didn't have a cell phone. And we didn't go to camp or anything. So like everything you did was with whoever was around. So we would, like, my cousins would come over, and then and like, this is also back in the time where you could leave your kids at home and they could be like 10 or 11 and be perfectly fine. And we would literally like run the streets, like go to the local pool. We would play football outside, like in the middle of the street, just straight up football. Like all kinds of stuff. Tackle on the grass. You can't tackle in the street, you gotta tackle on the grass. And people would like stay in the street and be like, that's cheating, you gotta run to the grass. I used to like like so many crazy things that I was like, oh my gosh, like we would literally get arrested as parents nowadays. We just let our kids stay at home at 10 years old and like with their cousins, and like you just made your own lunch and all kinds of stuff. And this was over the summer, like.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that. I didn't live around that many people, and so like a few times I would go and stay with my cousins. That will be it. But either I was in the city and I was like no one else was around my neighborhood, and so I would just stay outside and play games or whatever I did, or I'll be like at my grandparents' house where we live in the middle of like a forest, and so I would go back outside and watch those snakes because that's what we do.
Those snakes.
Why are you watching snakes? Is fun. I swear. I promise.
I love snakes. I just watched a video on snakes actually.
I don't know. I would love to watch. I would just go outside and watch any animal I could find. Like I remember, like when I was a kid, my goal was to be able to make it outside before the deer ran away, and so I would like try to tiptoe and step quietly and open the doors, not to spook the deer, to see how close I can get.
Okay, here we go. Rapid fire before we go. What is your favorite childhood memory? Rapid fire. You just gotta throw something out there. You gotta throw it out there. It's gonna be completely false, and we come back next week and you can correct yourself.
Triathlon from when I was like in kindergarten.
Nice.
And you had those big red tricycles, and I was just sitting there pedaling. Oh my goodness! And I brought my own, and it was like a really cool. Okay.
Here we go. The context.
I really love this tricycle. It had a little water gun on the side that you could squirt if you were tricycling around, and it was like really big. When I think back about it now, it was like a real 80s blocky, like terrible. It looked ugly, but back then it was the coolest thing in the world to me, and I would just sit there and just like pedal my little heart out, just going through all the tricycles. It was great. It was a good time.
What about you?
Rapid fire favorite childhood memory would probably be like playing Barbies with my sister on top of our dad's pool table.
You just changed mine for me. But playing Barbie on the pool table?
Yeah, we used to pretend that was like their mansion. Like the whole pool table was like their house, and then my dad would be like, "Quit playing on the pool table," and we'd be like, "Yeah, they live here."
This is their home. What are you kicking them out?
What are you talking about? You gonna evict my Barbies?
For real.
That's hilarious. So I had to change mine because you made me think of a different one.
Okay.
Mine was we had one of those jukebox karaoke recorder combos, like the big box that was like. It was like 2 feet tall and a foot wide, and we had 2 microphones and a cassette tape. My parents bought us a blank cassette tape. We didn't record any music on it. We only did news shows.
We pretended to have
And I have it in my office right now, and I have zero way to listen to it.
No. Go back. I first off have a cassette player. 2, what do you mean? How old were you when you were doing these news shows?
Oh man, we were like 8, 9, like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Like literally sitting there like my sisters. Today on the news, we hear, and then you would turn up the echo.
We did it for a radio show.
Yes.
We called it Star 5.9.
Am I the only weirdo who we actually sang with our cassette recorder player? Like, you're like it.
Well, we sang too.
Britney Spears CD, and so we would play the CD in between we would say our thing, and then it'd be like, and here's Britney Spears on Star 109.5, and then we would switch it to play the entire Britney Spears song.
So no, we sang songs like normal people. I see. You know what? This made me feel better because now I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not weird. I'm not weird.
No, we totally did the exact same thing, and we'd be like, next on the news we got, and then you turn up the echo, break, see, and he's coming to you about the sports, and you turn it back off. The Bears.
Oh, okay.
Completely made up stories, but it was so funny. I literally have the cassette in my office, like we could listen to it.
Okay, I thought of one last memory.
Okay.
It's gonna make me sound like a terrible person. But you remember those password journals?
Yes. And
So,
and girls would like actually like put their diary stuff in them, and then like
yeah. So my cousin, she had a password journal, and my other cousin's goal was to constantly break into this journal no matter what she did.
It wasn't hard.
It
was so easy. But we wouldn't just normally break into it. We would find new and interesting ways to break into it. One time, so we had like the Spy Gear toy. You remember when Spy Kids came out? It was a big thing. So we sat there and recorded her saying the password for her journal and then played it back to the journal so we could open it up. Like, this was our goal. We were like, how many interesting ways can we figure out to break through this journal?
Yeah.
And you know what? That was probably a dick move, but it was funny at the time. It was more of the challenge. She was like, "You can't break into it," and so now we're like, "Now I have to." I don't even think we read what was in it. We didn't care. Like, it was the mere fact of
top secret mission.
We gotta break it open. We gotta crack the code.
All right, y'all. We have went way over our allotted time, but that's okay because we reminisce today.
We were reminiscing, going down the avenues of nostalgia.
Well, we hope y'all remember us next week. This has been The Real Deal. Peace.
Yo.